Welcome to the fifth episode of 8 Hours Later with the Stream Queen. My name is Just E, and the E stands for Ellen. You may know my voice from another podcast I do with my hubby, Paul, named E Says, P Says. Currently, we are on a little hiatus due to Paul convalescing and us building our show listings. Thankfully, Paul is on the mend, and we are getting back into the swing of things. That said, I have gone solo to create a few podcasts that deal with some interests outside of marriage and relationships. This being the first one, where I discuss my love of television by blaming Netflix, lol. I'll also discuss my new love of British crime dramas and my general love of crime TV. This will also include me enjoying vintage TV and the plethora of other streaming categories I enjoy as well. I'll share my TV streaming history and how I track the many, many, many shows I like. So let's begin. Close the doors, grab a snack, and let me know what you think. If you are new here, hello and welcome. To catch you up, the week before last, we took a little break last week. I discussed three shows: Sherlock and Daughter, Unforgotten, which I am rewatching, and the Inspector Lindley mysteries. I haven't watched any vintage TV lately since I am catching up on the previous seasons of newer shows that are coming back in the next month, and I shared my pet peeve, timeliness. Check it out. Now, to the shows I watched this week: Rosemary and Thyme, another British crime classic. It was 3 seasons long. You can view it with a BritBox subscription on Prime or for free on Tubi. As usual with British crime shows, there is an unusual twist. The leading ladies are a botany professor and an ex police officer. The professor is unexpectedly fired from her job, and the ex police officer's marriage of 20 years ends because her husband had an affair with a younger woman. In the throes of their heartache, their love of plants brings them together, and they create a business where they go around creating and repairing various lawn or gardening issues. And of course, in the process of their work, there is a murder, and the ladies are always more than keen to assist their employer of the moment to solve it. Who would have thunk? Crime fighting botanists. It is an enjoyable watch, and the chemistry between the ladies makes it even more so. So join me and watch Rosemary and Thyme, and let me know what you think by leaving a comment. I fell behind on the rewatching of Unforgotten, and I know previously I said they resolved cold cases. I need to correct myself. In British terms, it is historic crime. At the last crime, at the last And the last crime Cass and Sonny resolved took poor Cass out. It was a crime about a young girl that was killed over the New Year's Eve of 2K, when 1999 turned into 2000. In resolving the crime, Sonny and Cass find out that there is a serial killer that has not only killed the young lady whose case they are trying to solve, but many, many, many more teenage girls over the years. He also happens to be a doctor, which means he is supposed to do no harm. In the end, Cass decides to take some time off and attempts to retire early due to the mental stress of her job, as well as dealing with the changes at home with her dad that is displaying signs of dementia and Alzheimer's, as well as finding out that he is dating a new, younger girlfriend who Cass is not sure is there for her father's best interest or a more devious reason. Suffice it to say, season 5 opens with a new department head working alongside Sunny. It really opens with Sunny talking to Cass at her burial plot. Yes, with all of the stuff going on in her life, She got distracted and was either intentionally hit or just had a bad accident that ended with her in the hospital at the end of season 4. Since this show is currently ongoing, there is a season 6, which I have started to watch, and only the first 2 episodes are available. Another reason I usually wait for a bit when a new season is released so I can keep streaming. So check it out on Prime Video with a PBS subscription and leave a comment letting me know what you think. And the third show is the Inspector Lindley Mysteries. This show has 6 seasons and has ended. However, you can catch it on Prime Video with the BritBox subscription, or you can catch it on YouTube or HBO Max. So as I left off last week, the week before last, Havers was reinstated after using a flare gun on her superior officer to save Lindley and a child that the smuggler had thrown overboard. And that is pretty much as far as I've gotten. I got turned around by the recommended shows, and I also have you I also have an issue with watching a show and the episodes start to make no sense. Like literally no sense. None. Havers had started a relationship with the father of the child that was thrown overboard. And Lindley was working through some issues with his wife after the loss of their child. And after Havers' reinstatement, it's like none of this happened. So when stuff like this happens on a show, I think one of a few things has occurred. Either we are setting up for a love match or the tension that can be caused by a possible love match. And third, new writers were hired and are trying to take the show in another direction. Whatever it is, give me a moment and I will get back into it. If you have been watching along, leave me a comment and let me know if you feel the same way. So what you watching? Guess what? There's good news. A new Lindley series is starting. It is not a reboot, but a remake with a new cast and new stories. The initial Lindley Mysteries was from 2002 to 2007. So it is wonderful to see them remaking a show so soon after it ended. And the new series is just Lindley, not the Inspector Lindley Mysteries. So find it on Prime. And I know that I said I was going to talk about Netflix. However, I do believe in the first episode I mentioned that a lot of the British crime is over here on Prime Video. I'm also a little frightened on Netflix because, you know, what happens when I go over to Netflix is I go into a Cupid on everything and I end up night after night after night after night. So I'm trying to dip my toe slowly and get back over to Netflix because there have been some shows that I did watch that are very good, and I will bring those up as we go forward. So, besides the new Lindley series, I also watched some new TV, Tony and Ziva, and the TV Time app that I have mentioned in previous episodes is very good for this reason. I saw when I was looking on Paramount, watching my was 48 hours. You know, we all know crime aficionado, everything. 48 hours, Dateline, Court TV, everything. So as I was watching an episode of 48 Hours, I saw the Tony and Ziva uh uh what is it? Either the Tony and Ziva trailer popped up or I saw in new series Tony and Ziva. So I looked at my little TV Time app and I searched for it. It was there and I chose it. And as soon as the episodes were available, it popped up in my TV Time app so that I could be on track. So If you don't have the TV Time app and you're looking for something to track your shows, go to your Google Store or your Apple Store and download the TV Time app. Great tracking method for TV series and movies too. So if you're familiar with Tony and Ziva, they were on the original NCIS. So if you're a fan, you know who they are, and they worked under Gibbs. Ziva was a Mossad agent, and Tony was an NCIS agent. So far, I've watched the first 2 episodes. 3 have been released, and it's interesting to see where the relationship between Tony and Ziva has gone and what they are up to currently. They even have a daughter. Wow. If you'd like to watch too, you can catch current episodes on Paramount Plus or CBS. And as usual, on one of my platforms, let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. So, if you're watching any of these shows, let me know what you think by leaving a comment on the Mock Media Group page on Facebook or on one of the platforms you listen to podcasts. And let me know what you're watching. There was no vintage TV this week. However, some of the British crime I've been watching is a little old, so you could call that vintage. I also seem to have reached the end of my recommendations queue, and the shows I previously watched are coming up. So I'm currently rewatching the Madame Blanc mysteries. Madame Blanc, aka Jean White, is an antiques dealer that works with her husband. While she is caught up in the day-to-day working of the shop, he suddenly dies as he has a big find that will get their business back on track. However, he didn't die of natural causes. You guessed it, murder. He was killed by the new quote unquote Mrs. White. No, he is not divorced. He is having an affair, and the people in the small town they own a second home, Saint Victoire in France, think she is his wife. News to her, the real Mrs. White. Also, news to her, her husband has taken out a second mortgage on their primary home by forging her name on the paperwork. So they owe the bank, and she will have to move to Saint Victoire and either sell their property there to survive in London or relocate. The sale of the home, along with the jewels her husband located, should allow her to live fine back in London. Unfortunately, the jewel is missing, which forces her to stay in the town to locate it. And the more time she spends in the town, the more in love she falls with Saint Victoire and the people. And of course, while she is there trying to find the other Mrs. White and her jewel, the police chief, Caron, requests her help with crimes in the area that have to do with dun 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 antiques. I know, a antique dealing, murder solving person. Only in British crime. Only in British. She even ends up helping him solve his wife's murder when he is accused of killing her. So check this out on Acorn TV. You guessed it, with a subscription on Prime Video. There are currently 4 seasons of the show. However, the fourth season is the most current, being released in December of last year. So let me know what you think in the comments. I also love to hear from you and what you watching. So let me know. And this week, there is no pet peeve. Just thankful to those of you that are enjoying joining me and listening to my take on streaming TV. Well, basically, streaming crime. And as you can see, self professed or not, I had this TV thing down, LOL. Phew, that was a lot of watching this week. So subscribe to 8 Hours Later with the Stream Queen on any platform you listen to your podcast. You can also catch up on episodes from E Says, P Says, so you will be ready when we release new episodes. You can also check out all things mock on our website, mockmediagroup.com. Want to do more? Support us by buying a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Mock Media Group. Thanks for listening. The doors are now open. Go about your day with joy and let me know what you're watching.